welcome everyone to a very special episode of Isles Talk here. The season 6 2000 episode 25 Isles Talk 2025 mock draft. My name is Paul Kreischer. I am your draft blog host here tonight, and joining me once again just for a little while tonight, Mr. Gary Harding. Gary, how are you, sir?
Right now, very warm. I am currently in the Hale Site, New York firehouse. I'm working the Suffolk County, or actually specifically Town of Huntington primary election. I've been awake since 3:45 this morning, been here since 5 a.m., got another hour and a half to go, and I'm exhausted. But I appreciate you giving me a couple minutes because I know this show is extremely important to everybody regarding Friday and what's going to happen and what Paul's looking at, especially not just at number one and possibly something else, but obviously the later rounds, because we all know that Paul does his homework, serious homework on this. And again, he should be applauded by everybody that's listening on the site for all the work he does. And that's not me sucking up to him at all. So just make sure everybody knows that. But anyway, the reason I came on, as I'm sitting here working the election, I got the note, as everybody else did, that the Isles announced that Matt Martin has retired from his professional playing career and has accepted a role as a assistant to Mathew Darsh in the GM position. Anybody that's on this site, whether they're an Islander fan or not, any NHL player, NHL fan over the last 15 years knows what kind of a man and what kind of a hockey player Matt Martin was to this organization, and even to the 2 years that he played in Toronto with the Maple Leafs. But obviously the majority of his career here on Long Island, and representing our home on the front of that jersey, as well as the orange and blue colors of the team. I remember meeting him, his first year coming into the league. They had a thing for season ticket holders before the season started, and Matt was there with Calvin DeHaan, and they looked like, I think they were like 21 and 22, and they looked about 14 and 15 respectively. But Matt always had a great attitude with people. I'm not just saying this because of his career, but he was definitely one of the nicest guys that you encountered with as a fan. He never refused a kid. He was always very generous with his time, with kids and with the other fans alike. And again, we all know what he's done, when he takes to the ice. I mean, the warrior mentality, the fourth line, the identity line, everything that made Matt what he was to this organization. He's not going to be in the top of the scoring titles or anything like that, but 50, 60 years down the line, when our grandchildren and great-grandchildren are talking about Islander or hearing about Islander hockey in the past, Matt Martin's going to be one of the big names that's known to the organization. He's going to be eventually included with the Stanley Cup guys as one of the best Islanders to ever put on that jersey. And, I wrote out on the Booster Club sites on Facebook and Instagram and X earlier that not only was he is he an Islander player, but he's a Long Islander, a father. He represents everything that Long Island is. And, last year when we had a meeting with, like a Chalk Talk meeting with Lou Lamoriello, somebody asked him about Matt, and he, without even hesitation, said, Matt will be an Islander forever. And we know obviously Lou is gone, but that is still going to remain. As long as Matt wants to be involved with this organization, he will be. And to me, I'm very proud to say, to give a big salute to Matt and say thank you for everything you've done to the Long Island community. there's only one thing that unfortunately Matt could not do. And, other than the Stanley Cup, obviously, but it's also trying to convince his damn father-in-law to switch allegiances. But, we can't have everything. But the fact of the matter is he's an Islander for life. And as a fan, as a follower of this game, I'm very proud to say thank you, Matt, for everything.
Bravo, bud.
Thanks. I didn't even practice that. That's just
you didn't even practice. That was just
that's off the cuff, man.
Right there. I like that. Quick question here from Cutler. Would you induct the identity line into the Islanders Hall of Fame together once Casey retires? Absolutely.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Individually, no. Collectively, there's not even a blink of an eye to that.
Right.
Because that made this team in the overall collection better. They're great players individually. They're good players individually, but that line and the chemistry and the things that they said, especially when they were coming out first shift and doing what they were doing, they made teams be concerned about the Islanders. Right. Not that they're not scared, but they have to make concerns, because if something happened, you knew that 17, 15, or 53 were going to do something. And, that's, that kind of a, do you say that could be maybe the second or third best, most popular line in Islander history after Trio Grande or the Long Island Lighting Company? Maybe. I can't think of another line over a period of time that, there's been players with numbers, but that was consistent over years.
Right.
And that's what makes the line memorable, is when they've not done it, just for a couple of weeks or a month, when they've done it for 6-7 years together.
Right.
And everybody knew when you came onto Long Island, you had to worry about that fourth line. And,
they made you work.
Yeah, they certainly did make you work. And, it's not going to be the same, but I hope, the guys that have been brought in, the Mark Atcomb's done a nice job. Kyle McLean's done a nice job. We'll see who comes in after that, but they've got a great pedigree to follow and something to look up to or to strive to as a fourth line. And we got to thank Matt as well as Cal and Casey for that as well.
Absolutely, bro. Well done. Well said. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm gonna get back because we're in our last hour here, so we're trying to get things ready to be done, and I'm gonna listen to the show after I get home. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to your. Again, as I said, make sure you really keep an eye on the other picks that Paul makes, because he's worked his tail off, and I know that sometimes it's a crapshoot, but at least he'll give us something on Saturday to look for, as long as there's no trades or moving around of our picks. But, I'm looking forward to it, Paul, and enjoy the rest of the show, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. And I think I'll see you on Thursday, right?
Yeah, I think so. We're looking forward to it.
Okay.
Me and the missus are looking forward to seeing your ugly butt.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Long Island for a few days. So Thursday it is, bud.
All I say is God help us all.
That's right, baby. It's all over now. So.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you Thursday, Paul. Commute safely, okay?
All right.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye, guys. Ew. No. Get out of here. So, all right, boys and girls. Welcome. I put on right. Ew. No. Wait. Absolutely not. No. Ugh. Thank you. Yeah, let's don't thank me yet. Let's get through this draft first, okay? Is it Friday yet? Yeah, that's a good one. All right, boys and girls. So again, welcome to Isles Talk 2025 mock draft. This is where I try to at least come up with a theme for this year's draft for the New York Islanders. Last year, not patting myself on the back, but I'm probably the only one who was not upset with last year's draft. because the Islanders were doing exactly what I was thinking they were going to do. And that's what I'm trying to do again this year. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is a very tough draft, and there's a lot of disconnect right now. I think between yes, I am going to be there. There's a lot of disconnect between, I think, what ownership wants and what the fans want when you take several steps back. So, I'm not trying to join everybody in together here and do a little kumbaya. But there are things that the Islanders still need to do at this draft. And I try to make it, what do I think the Islanders will do, not what should the Islanders do. There's a difference there. So that worked last year. I'm going to try it again this year. And I talked about that disconnect first, and it kind of pertains to the draft itself. Lo and behold, when we were looking for a general manager, the owners were pretty much looking for Ken Holland, which I didn't mind, to be completely honest with you. He's like literally a third descendant from Bill Torrey. This guy has been in the playoffs after playoffs after playoffs after playoffs. After winning a Stanley Cup, and then he took the Edmonton Oilers to the Stanley Cup his last season. There's a lot of winning going involved. But I understand the fans wanted to get a little younger. I get all that. Okay. And the fans wanted Matthew Darche for good reason. And I'm not going to lie. Matthew Darche was on my list. For those of you who have been following the show, Scott White, Matthew Darche, they were all on that list. I was absolutely ecstatic for Ryan Bonus to actually be on this, in this management right now. I think that's absolutely phenomenal. But as far as the coaches go, to be honest with you, I think we should all be at the point where it's a we'll believe it when we see it moment. All the names are good. The track records are good, but Islander fans, including myself, are all like, we'll believe it when we see it. Let's see something now. Okay. So there's a lot of disconnect between the owners and the fans because the owners kind of still want to win now. And as we've seen the last couple of weeks, the Islander fans are trading everybody. They look like they're ready to trade their own family members at this point. So let's see if we can all come together by the end of the draft. And to be honest with you, Darche is in a really tough spot. Granted, he's going to do what the owners want, but at the same time, he's got to recognize, the fans are looking for some kind of change. It may not be this year, but I agree with Charles here. He seems to be more available to the media. That's true. He is going to try to cater to the fans as much as he can. But I think Darche is in a really tough spot. He might be, but we'll go from there. So before I ramble too much here, I do have a theme. If you take several steps back from this 2025 NHL draft, it's development. Development. Right now, and I have to emphasize those two words, right now. For Islander fans, for you guys to understand the draft, especially some of you older ones, you'll know. These are your Hudson Fashings. These are your Mark Gaccombs. These are your McLeans. These are your Matt Donovans. These are your Andrew McDonalds. These are your Shane Princes. These are your Alan Quines. Okay, that's what this draft is so far. that I have been able to research. Okay. It's not that they can't be superstars, but the supporting roles that they're going to be in could be beneficial. Okay. These kids are going to take the time. And the reason why I say that is because we've talked on this show before with 17-year-olds not turning 18 until the season is over, or they haven't turned 18 yet. So you've got quite a few Simon Holmstroms. You have quite a few Oliver Wallstroms from the past. A lot of these kids played in this system, played this year out as 17-year-olds. So what I normally do, how do I create my mock draft? Okay. It's a lot of reading, it's a lot of research. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I have a dual degree in psychology, counseling, research. Those are my main focuses. Okay, especially on the research part. So a good chunk of the season, I'm reading on all of these prospects. And I've been doing this now since 2008. So, yes, I do have a certain group that I do read, but then I also take a look at some of the new writers who are coming out with their own ideas on their players, because then maybe if they're on the same line, I'll go back to them later on. And what I try to do during the second half of the season, um, I try to get a picture of what they could look like as an Islander. So, say for example, um, someone from this draft kind of reminds me of Jason Blake, or this player reminds me of Mike Bossy in terms of style. The problem that I've had with this mock draft is that right now they're kind of they're kind of looking like a such and such Islander player. Okay. But that's not enough to give you guys. I really don't know what these kids are going to look into 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road, because this draft in particular, these kids started off so young. Not that they're bad, but this was truly a rookie draft is something I would almost trade it. Okay, I thought about that. Don't think I haven't thought about that. Okay, so these younger players, they haven't, shall I say, they haven't found their niche yet. I can't really get a read on what kind of a game they're playing yet or what player they're emulating from me because this is so young. So for me right now, I taken this in a different direction for the Islanders um, for each round. So what I'm going to do from here on out, I'm going to go through round 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to get into a bigger discussion with round 1. Again, this is something I think the Islanders are going to do. What I think they're going to do, not necessarily what they should do. Because let's be honest, I don't know what the Islanders are going to do. In terms of the draft, it's a complete crapshoot. Let's get that out of the way. It is a complete crapshoot. But if there's a theme here, that's my goal. What's their theme this year? So let's have a little bit of fun. And I will be fairly quick with each round here. Okay. I'm going to give you players' names, their positions. You don't have to know about any of their details at this point because trust me, some of these kids may not even get drafted this year. That's just going to be the case. Okay. So here's my round 7. Maybe next year, right? Or maybe not at all. Okay. I can tell you right now, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 in those 3 rounds, they're all projects. A good chunk of them are all projects. They're all going to need time, but when they're ready, they could have a significant role somewhere in the Islanders organization. So going with round 7, I'm looking at Andre Straka, left-handed forward. He can play left wing. He can play center. He's a project. He's got some decent size to him. I don't think he's related to Martin, but he's that type of player right now. He didn't show a lot of promise, but he didn't really drop either. You know what I mean? His floor was there, didn't really hit a potential, but I liked what he was doing at that time. Another hopeful is Francesco Del LC. Del LC. He's an overager left-handed defenseman from BU this year. He seemed to put everything together, but he's going to be 20 years old, I think, starting in September. If he puts in one more season at BU, do I think he could make it out of Bridgeport next season? Sure. But again, you can give him enough time, and maybe he could turn, he kind of had that aha moment now, but again, 19 years old. We'll see what happens with that. Caden Shahan is an overager right winger out of the University of Connecticut. Look, I'm not going to lie. This kid's a sniper. He's a sniper. That's what this kid does. Hasn't been able to put the full game yet together, but UConn's a really good program to learn from. And at the very least, if he can put his game together this season, Bridgeport could be calling him. Because, the Islanders do need some right wingers. Let's get that out of the way. If there's any kind of needs for the Islanders this year, it's probably right wing. It's probably right defense. But we'll get into that a little bit further. And you know what? I'm going to pull up another 7th rounder possibility here. Nicholas Sikora. Yeah, I'm going back to another former Devil's son here. Nicholas Sikora is going to be playing at Quinnipiac this coming season. So the structure is going to be there. That whole team game is going to be there. Whether Nicholas Sikora is going to be at 202, I don't know. He could be, he could not be. Maybe a year in college, we'll find out what kind of a game Sikora really has. A couple of other notable mentions. Noah Jenkins is a left-handed defenseman. He's a project. Drew Allison's a left-handed project as well. But these kids are young. These kids started at 17. They haven't turned 18 yet, or they just did. A lot of young defensemen. Some of these kids may not even make it through this draft. They may have to show up next year, which is one of the reasons why 2026 is looking to be the better draft next season. It's just these kids needed a little more time. Going with the overagers again in round 6, I'm looking at Luke Misselbacher, an overager right winger. He was doing pretty well. He even had a small stint in the American League, and he did pretty well. Anthony Cristoforo is another overager right defenseman. Again, he was one of those. I think he's in the top 5 overagers to be drafted this year. Again, I don't know where. But if the Islanders have a shot at him in the 6th round, both of them could start for next season. And, for those of you who have watched this show before, I like the overagers just enough to bridge the gap from the draft picks that haven't come up to Bridgeport just yet. Let's see. Moving on. I'm actually taking one of the youngest, if he's available, in the 6th round with the 170th pick, Ate Yoki, the left-handed center. His birthday, I believe, is not until September. Left-handed center, definitely a project. He's middle 6. He's middle 6 for right now. There's not a lot of ceiling when you're working with these. Where's their floor? What's the bare minimum these players are going to turn into? For me, and you're going to see this theme again uh, coming up in the third and fourth rounds. I like to see the Islanders draft some of these really, really young forwards or defensemen or even goaltenders because it gives the Islanders enough time to develop these kids. And with everything that they're putting in play, this might fit with what Matthew Darsh wants to do in terms of developing and getting these kids into the NHL. Um, Drew Schock is another left-handed defenseman project. Possibly could be there in the sixth round. I wouldn't mind taking him as well. Moving forward into the fifth round. These are my sneaky picks. Some of them we may have heard of, others, not so much. But these are my late risers. Some of these kids, they weren't doing much in the season, and all of a sudden, springtime comes in, and they started to moving up in the rankings. So, these are my sneaky picks, my sleeper picks. And again, they could go 3, 4, 5, anywhere they can go. This draft is just this is the worst draft to try to predict where these kids are going to land. Carter Klippenstein, left winger. He's moved up in the rankings. He could be a really good middle six forward. Chase Jetty, a right-handed right winger. Think of him as Casey Zizekas. Great energy kid. Can play the penalty kill if I'm not mistaken. He's one that you probably wouldn't mind having on that fourth line at some point. Ryan Miller, the left winger. Middle six, maybe top six potential. He's been moving up a little bit. Um, you know, he's got a chance, but again, development. It's all in development with some of these kids. Owen Griffin is a right-handed centerman. That's going to be another theme of mine as well. When it comes to these kinds of drafts, I'm usually looking at center and I'm usually looking at defensemen because they usually take the longest to develop, but you could get yourself a gem um, out of out of these picks. Owen Griffin's got a decent size to him, and he's a right-handed centerman. You can't go wrong with that. So moving on now to my third and fourth rounds. Now, when I say starting over, this is what I mean. Whether it's Alex Jeffries, whether it's Cal Ritchie, whether it's um, Hagens, whether it's Nelson, whoever's left here, okay, Iserman, Schaefer, all of these draft picks that we've been talking about now for like the last 3 or 4 years, they're all gone. They're all gone by the time this next group comes into play. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're going to be this next crop. So for me, what I think the Islanders are going to do is basically start over. You're starting over again. You're building the team up. You're rebuilding that team up. This is how you would probably do a rebuild through this kind of a draft. So what I would like to do in the fourth round is by a name of Harry Nancy, right-handed center, 6'3". 6'3", 175. He's also a September kid. He doesn't turn 18 until September. This kid's already 6'3". Bottom six, who cares? You put on a little extra weight with that 6'3" body. You put him through the proper programming, the proper conditioning. You probably have something. Okay. So Harry Nancy is definitely one of them. Owen Martin, right-handed forward. He's your other project. Right winger, center, good all around game. Don't know what kind of a ceiling he really has just yet, but I didn't want to put him in a sleeper because I don't think he's going to get past that fourth round. Jacob Rombach, left defense. Another big boy. Can play the game. Potential, I really don't know yet. You know, the floors are even in question right now with everything going on. Another helpful one, Theodore Hallquist, right-handed defenseman, another project. I believe Theodore is still playing over in Europe, but he again, these kids, they're putting up decent numbers, but we haven't seen that growth yet because I'm waiting for that 1 year, and I normally don't look at their draft year. I want to see what they do after that. Okay, and I don't put a lot of stock into the regular season so much. Um, I've learned to look at their back-to-back games. I've looked to see them under pressure or more on the 5-on-5 than I do the power play. But again, building a team around four of those players isn't a bad idea. There's a good, you really can't go wrong with any of that. My third round pick, and this is where some people are going to be like, again? Yes, again. My third round pick is going to be Alexei Nedvedev out of London, the Ontario Hockey League. I believe he's the youngest goalie in this draft. What I like about Alexei, no, he did not play in the playoffs for London. It was regular season. Again, 17. But what I like with this kid right now is that London's not going to be as good as they have been. So this kid's really going to go through a challenge. I want to see him go through challenges now. I want to see him take his team to a playoff spot. I want to see how much he can carry a load, by himself. See how far he can go. He's got some, he does have some mechanical stuff to work on. His butterfly is a little okay, that needs some work. But again, because of the natural raw talent that still needs to be developed, I would take a shot at Nedved at number 74. He's supposed to be gone in the 60s, but again, that's my hope if he's there. Another pick for me, if the Islanders can get him, Hayden Papanekis, right-handed center. He's another big boy. He's 6'3". I think he's 6'4". I even think he's 200 pounds right now. This kid's a beast. Right-handed center, 6'3", 6'4", are hard to come by. And again, 3-4 years down the road, okay, you're going to need a center like him at some point. Dakota Raymond Mullen, left-handed defenseman, Team USA. Dakota, I want to, like I said, he's starting to remind me of an Andrew McDonald. For those of you who remember Andrew McDonald, he's got some good stuff. Needs some work on it. But we'll see. And again, if he's there at number 74, and the rest of these players aren't, David Betkowski, right-handed defenseman, who again is another project, I would consider him more in a style of a Grant Hutton. You like this game when he played. You kind of wish he had a little bit more. But again, Team USA. Also another theme there on Team USA. An honorable mention, Mason West. Mason West, the current football player, soon to turn to hockey as well. Think of Anders Lee in that case. Mason is starting to show some signs that he's a hockey player, but he hasn't done enough of it yet because he's still in football. But his skating is really, really smooth. No, you can never have enough goalies. In a sense, yes, but more like Team USA. And I will go into that in a minute. Now, round 2. Who fell from round 1? Who fell from round 1? And God knows who that's going to be. I would almost put round 2, depending. And this is the tough one, folks. This is I'm telling you now. This draft is just a pain in my butt. It's a pain in everybody's butt. It's a pain in everybody's butt. Probably after pick number 8 or 9 at this point. Like throw your mock drafts away. Just don't bother. Again, building for the future at number 42. Charlie Trethewey. Right-handed defenseman, another project. Kind of like Hagens, didn't put up the numbers like he was supposed to. He was also supposed to be a first-round pick this year. He kind of dropped. You give him enough time, you give him enough development, Trethewey may turn into a very good bottom pair defenseman. Cameron Schmidt, believe it or not. I know the Islanders were talking about Cameron Schmidt at the combine and whatnot. And no lie, I had Cameron Schmidt. Let me double check my work here. Cameron Schmidt was number 40 in my rankings. Could he be available at 42? That's going to be the question. A lot of mock drafts have him going in the first round, lower first round, maybe getting past just a little bit of the second round. I don't know if Cameron Schmidt's going to be there. If he is, would I take him over Charlie Trethewey? I might. That kid's speed is amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed watching that game, watching his game just from the speed alone. Okay. Mathew Guard, left-handed center. He's another, I believe he's 6'2". You guys are starting to see that theme of mine. Okay. Couple of right wingers, couple of big centers fixed in over here. Mathew Guard has slowly been rising in my rankings just enough. I don't know if he's in the top 50, though. I don't think I put him there. And another right-handed defenseman, Peyton Kettles. Basically for the same reason as Charlie Trethewey. Peyton Kettles, right-handed defenseman. He's going to be a project. Again, when they're on the team, they should be okay. That's what I mean. Development is going to be key with this whole group. I'm a little bit of a dark horse, and I've learned this lesson before. Okay, Kirill Kabanov, I know. Kirill Petrov, I know. Some of you are laughing because you remember those names. I don't want to take a shot at Ivan Rybakhin, but Daniil Prokhorov, the left-handed right winger, entices me a little bit. Okay, I'm glutton for punishment. I know that. I don't think the Islanders will go in that direction. I don't know. I hope not. Carter Amico is another right-handed defenseman. I don't know if he's going to be there at 42. He might be there less. Yeah, Kettles might be the best stay-at-home D-man. You're right. He might be. I agree. Yes, and folks, for the reasons why I'm bringing, and thank you, Tommy. The reason why I'm bringing up these names specifically is because they probably have the best chance of being at number, 42, 74, 106, 138, 170, so on and so forth. So if I don't mention these names like Gastrin or McKinney, it's basically that. We would love to see these guys fall at number 42. I don't see that happening. There's a lot of players who we'd all love to see fall to number 42. I'm not counting on it. So If I'm missing out names, it's because I'm not expecting them to be there. I could be wrong. Cole Iserman. Cole Iserman fell into our laps. Noah Dobson fell into our laps. Okay. It happens. Could this be the 2014 draft? Not supposed to be that good, but has a lot of hidden gems. Charles, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I would love to see these kids play another season, and then I can tell you if they're hidden gems. I don't think there's enough time when you're 17 to really get the grasp of the full game. There's a lot of maturing going on. And I think that's why there's a lot of hope. There's more hope going into next year than there is this year. These kids are going to be, instead of hidden gems, they're going to be diamonds. They're, pressure. There's got to be a lot of pressure on them in order for them to show what they actually could be. You know what I mean? This is a very, very tough draft for me to even think about what the Islanders might do. But again, in a draft like this, right-handed centers, sure. The big ones, absolutely. One or two right-handed defensemen, please. Like, for God's sake, just I know there's a lot of 2026 right-handed defensemen that the Islanders could probably draft. Please, just draft one for me. Make it decent. For the love of God, just do one right-handed defenseman for Bridgeport, please. My God, that's all I'm asking. Okay. Before I get into the first round, trades. Let's talk trades. You guys are ruthless. You guys have already traded Romanov. You've traded Dobson 10,000 times to almost every team in the league. You've traded Pajot. I'm shocked none of you have traded Sorokin yet. Okay. Absolutely shocked. Okay. What is interest of me right now is that Darsh has made the comments. I think he's made the comments. Let's go that way. Of Dobson and Romanov, Barzell, Horvat, and Sorokin being part of the core, and yet Romanov and Dobson are being traded by every Islander fan. Okay. Do I think there's going to be a trade? Yes. I still haven't seen the change from the players who don't want to be Islanders anymore. Those are the trades I'd rather see first. There's no better time to do it than the draft. Okay, Joe and I said on this show, on episode 12, that everyone's job was on the line if the Islanders missed the playoffs. That ended up being confirmed when Lou Lamoriello re-signed basically everyone to contract extensions, and he was the only one to be let go. Patrick Wise kept his job for now. This is his team. But I'm still waiting on the players. It can't just be Brock Nelson that doesn't want to be an Islander. I'm still waiting for those kinds of trades to happen. And we're going to get into this, Brian. It's a perfect segue. Yeah, let's get into that. Okay. Do I think the Islanders are going to make a trade? Yes. Do I think they have one set already? Yes. Yeah. I think they're all playing you very to a T. To a T. It's another reason why I'm kind of doing the show tonight, because the general managers meeting, they're all meeting up tomorrow at some point. Ta-da. Round one. We're going back to this. Best player available. Two options. Let's just get this out of the way. Two options that the Islanders, I think, should honestly handle right now. Mathew Schaefer or James Higgins. Those should be the only two choices the Islanders should look at. I'm almost kind of bored doing this first round pick. Because for those of you who have seen the show before, I think it was February when people started asking me about the draft. Who's the number one? It's been Schaefer, and it's not even close. Misa to a degree, but Schaefer's number one. At the time, before the Islanders won the draft, Anton Frundell was my number one hopeful, but then the Islanders started winning. Lost that. After that, it was McCabe. He might slip to number 10. I don't think so. Roger McQueen is there. He might slip below 10. That back was going to be an issue. Rodney Murka might be around 10. I wouldn't have minded him either, but those were my picks. I was really solid on Anton Frundell way back when, but like I said, the Islanders started to win, and shit. And lo and behold, Anton Frundell has been moving up in the rankings ever since. And to be honest with you, I'm not really that surprised. But here we are with the Islanders winning the draft lottery, and they've got the number one pick, and we're at best player available. Mathew Schaefer. Is he the number one prospect in this draft? No doubt. Is he the best player available for the New York Islanders? Yes. Okay. And we've gone over this before during the regular season, folks. I no longer need that. When the Islanders defense scores 2 points or more, the win-loss ratio is practically 2-1. Some years it's 3-1. When the Islanders defense scores 2 points or more in a game, their win-loss ratio is practically 2-1, sometimes 3-1, depending on the season. You bring in Schaefer. Okay, and this is the other thing that's been bothering me. I don't like the fact that they're putting this kid up at Cale Makar level, even a Mikko Rantanen level. Folks, bare minimum, can Mathew Schaefer score 30 goals in the NHL? Not 30 goals. Can he score 30 points? Can he score 30 points in the NHL? Absolutely. At the absolute worst, could Mathew Schaefer be a top four defenseman? Yeah, absolutely. That's the absolute worst, folks. And look, I'm not going to lie. I don't blame Noah Dobson. I don't blame Noah Dobson for looking for 11 mil. Even 10 mil. I don't blame him. Every Islanders draft guru, brand new, brand spanking new. I've seen all of you. You've all put him up at Dennis Potvin level. Congrats. You've just set up Noah Dobson, bro. Big bag of money. Why? Because Dobson's already been averaging what, 45, 50? You put a player like Mathew Schaefer, the next Cale McCarr, the next Dennis Potvin. What do you think? What do you think Dobson's going to do? He's going to do a little bit more than 40, 45, 50 points a game now. He's going to get you 70, 75, 80. Maybe more. Because Mathew Schaefer could be that good. No. 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 This is the problem. When prospects are put on a ceiling, he's going to make his other teammates better. He's going to put up the points. Bingo. Bingo. Now, the question I want to know, and I don't know this, I don't think anybody knows, except for Dobson and his agent. Yes, 11 million is it would be a starting point. Agreed, no doubt. I'm sure Evan Bouchard's going to do the same thing. Evan Bouchard, if I'm not mistaken, was looking for 10 million. Okay, but thank you, Connor McDonald. Thank you, Ekholm. Thank you, Draisaitl. Thank you, everybody else on Edmonton. Right? Dobson now has Schaefer, and if this offense ever gets going, hello. That's why you try not to build up prospects the way people have lately. What I want to know is, eventually, does Noah Dobson want to stay an Islander? Is that why that price tag is too high? Or is it because we are about to draft? The Islanders are about to draft Mathew Schaefer. You know that, I know that. But that's not what we've been hearing. He's got that offense, Tommy. He's got the speed. A modern day Scott Niedermayer is going to put up a lot of points. But in terms of the point production, point per year, closest thing we had was Dennis Potvin, right? Come on. I've learned that. This is a learned behavior from me, Craig. I am probably the hardest, and Gary and Joe, even Tommy will tell you, I am the harshest critic of all the Islander prospects because I've learned to do that. It's a strategy. It's a negotiation. A negotiation for what, though, Randy? Does he still want to be an Islander? If not, do the owners want to pay that? You're still going to get a great player out of Mathew Schaefer. And in my humble opinion, I think he should go back to college, back to the O for one more season. Play a healthy season for me and go from there. No, I don't want him to start the season. I don't want him to start the season as an Islander. That would be a mistake. Now, I think we can all agree that at some point in time, Schaefer's probably going to collect some hardware. Okay? He's going to collect some hardware with or without Dauber. I still think he could be that good because he's got the right support system around here, especially over time. Now, there is another option. Okay? It is James Higgins. Is James Higgins the best player available for the New York Islanders? Yes. And hear me out. What most people may not know, because I haven't seen it around, and I will give a little credit here to Stefan Rosner. I didn't get to read it, but I know there was an article about the two of them. College players do not have to sign NHL contracts. With the team that they were drafted by. They don't. Tampa Bay is going through that same problem right now with Isaac Howard. If someone else drafts James Higgins and not the Islanders, and Cole Yzerman has another phenomenal season at BU, with Bridgeport being a complete mess as of late, you can't tell me Cole Yzerman is a deadlock to sign with the New York Islanders. You can't. There's no way. I'll believe it when I see it. And then if you lose Cole Yzerman, Danny Nelson going to come over? Probably not. Quinn Finley going to come? Probably not. Now you're losing everybody. Now you're losing that forward depth for that one top defenseman who may not have any help in 2-3 years. Imagine that. Now you're really digging yourselves a hole here, folks. So here's what I think. The Isles need both. They need Schaefer. They need Higgins. And let me explain to you why. Schaefer's a foregone conclusion. All of you, anything you guys are going to tell me about Schaefer, you're already correct because I've already agreed with you now for like the last 6 freaking months. Put Schaefer off to the side for a moment. Okay? You bring in Higgins. You draft Higgins. Next season, you can bring in Yzerman. You can bring in Higgins. You can bring in Nelson. You can bring in Finley. And if you want, for a little bit of fun, depending on the development, you can bring in Schaefer to Bridgeport. Folks, that's Team USA. Gold medal winning players from Team USA. And you have Marcus Gidloff, Sweden's top goalie entering the season, under 20, I believe at the moment. The Islanders probably top goalie prospect, all coming in after next season. They're all here. Forget remodel, forget retool, forget rebuild. They're coming, like right now. You draft Higgins, you've got all of Team USA that's been drafted by the Islanders. And you've got 3 core components. And this is something that Gary started off with. And this is something I want to finish it off with. This is what I need those 3 Islanders, hopefully future Islanders, could do for the Islanders. Number 1, I want Cole Yzerman to have the spotlight for the obvious reasons. Like we said before, we want Mathew Schaefer to collect that hardware because we believe he can. The Islanders need Higgins to be the new identity of the New York Islanders. They need Higgins to be the new Mr. Islander. Our last Mr. Islander just retired. The Islanders absolutely must draft their new Mr. Islander. No one knows how to be an Islander at this point moving forward than James Higgins. You put all those kids, and I'll even say for now, have a little fun with me. Put Schaefer down in Bridgeport for 20 games. Let him learn a little defense first. Let him get used to that pro game. You learn from Higgins what it means to be an Islander. I don't need Higgins to be a first-line center. I don't need him to be a second-line center, although he probably will be, and he might be a first-line center. I need him to be a Josh Bailey, game 1 to the Islanders. I need him to be Anthony Beauvillier, game 6, Nassau Coliseum. I need James Higgins to be Sean Bates' penalty shot. We can go down the list. The Easter Epic, whatever it is. I need him to be that Tonelli. I need him to be that Nystrom. I need him to have that heart. He's the only one who can do it for the Islanders at this point. It's those intangibles that if he brings that out, it's going to rub off everyone. And it's going to be contagious. The Islanders need Schaefer and Higgins drafted on Friday. I don't care how they do it. That has to happen. And I think they will. Now, I'm also going to do it like this. And I'm sorry for anyone over 55 and older. I'm not there yet, but I'm close. But I'm not there yet. For those of those fans who, they lived and they remembered the dynasty years like it was yesterday. There's a good bunch of them either collecting Social Security or they're close to it. From the business side of things, the Islanders have an opportunity to regrow hockey on Long Island and give Southern Connecticut a shot this time. TV deal is up in 5 years. There's no better time than to grow the sport of hockey on Long Island and grab a new crop of Islander fans than right now. There are some Ranger fans who are almost ashamed to call themselves Ranger fans at this moment. The Islanders have an epic opportunity at this draft to start something really special. Winnings in the future, hopefully some winnings sooner. We know that. But they have something special in the future to grow for the next generation of fans. And let me tell you, someone like James Higgins could grow the sport of hockey and grow the Islanders on Long Island. Probably something that they haven't seen since the dynasty years to begin with. Okay, so let's just go. Who are we trading? Dobson. Okay, so yeah, let's talk Dobson. You guys are so into trading Dobson. Okay, so listen. If the Islanders don't want to pay Noah Dobson, you use that money on Mitch Marner. Make a pitch for Mitch Marner. Okay? Now, remember what I just said before about the Islanders, everyone losing their jobs, so on and so forth, right? We were right on that. For those of you who know me, this is the second time I've now mentioned Mitch Marner and the Islanders on a show. Hint, 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 hint. Okay? Thank you. The Islanders need both. They need all three. They need everybody coming in. And in order to do that, you got to draft Schaefer. You got to draft Higgins. I don't care how they do it, but I think they will. And to be honest with you, yes, let's be honest here, brutally honest. Yes, I'm coming down for this draft. No, I'm not there for them to draft Mathew Schaefer. That's absolutely boring. Let's get that out of the way. Okay? I'm not here to sit there. Granted, I'm there to talk to you guys. We're going to have a lot of fun and whatnot. But from an Islanders perspective, drafting Mathew Schaefer's boring. I'm not coming down 2 hours just to watch the Islanders draft Schaefer. Okay? This isn't John Tavares. Sorry. John Tavares, that was an epic moment. And I'm not even going to lie. I enjoyed going to that draft party when they drafted Wallstrom and Dobson together. You just can't do a draft party. Oh, sugar. Yeah, I had a tweet. Damn it. And I thought I had it. I had a tweet back in March 9th. It's on my profile. It's on my first tweet there. Islanders are not having a draft party without bringing in James Higgins. Come on now. Schaefer's an afterthought. Bad enough I got to go fishing before the draft. Okay? Then I got to sit there and just watch Mathew Schaefer get drafted? No. There's more coming. There's more happening. I think it's going to happen. The Islanders, I think that's what the Islanders are going to do. And the Islanders need both. And if they get both, folks, strap in because it's going to be a lot of fun for the next year or two. So that's it. That's my thoughts on the draft coming up. There's a couple of projects. There's a lot of projects going on. I think there's some younger, hopefully, Islander draft picks that the Islanders can get. And if the development is really good, this is going to be something really special. Maybe in 4 years, but definitely patience with this whole draft coming up. But in all honesty, I think that first round, that second round are going to be key for the Islanders moving forward because I think if they do that, the owners are going to be happy. The fans are going to be happy. And Matthew Darsh, as far as I'm concerned, is GM of the year. I don't care. So, water cooler talk, guys. Let's do it. Couple of quick questions, comments, concerns. Yes. Yes. It may take a while, but yes. Imagine that. You get a local Long Island kid who wanted to be an Islander from this long? Yes. Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, McQueen was good. The back bothers me a little bit, but again, I haven't really researched the whole back thing. I mean, if they draft if they draft McQueen, if the Islanders still had that 10th pick and they drafted McQueen, I would trust the Islanders on that. I would not have an issue with McQueen whatsoever. How does it get done? Getting to Higgins. You know what? Because I'm going to the draft party, I don't care. That's what I want to watch. I want to be wowed. I want to be like, holy, okay? That's the part I'm waiting for. That's the fan in me that's hoping that happens. I'm hoping for Higgins at this point. I'm hoping for Higgins, and I'm also hoping for Yzerman, too. Because then we're really throwing a party. Maybe? Maybe. Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, and it's like I said, I really like McQueen. When the Islanders had that 10th pick, Tommy, but if the Islanders were to draft McQueen with that 10th pick, if the Islanders didn't win, I would be okay with that. Please, he's top 5, maybe even top 3. Frondell had an excellent interview. I don't think McQueen would have gone any less than 4, but no, I get where you're going with that. Okay, so listen, I know everyone's chiming in with Boston and whatnot. When you're looking at prospect rankings, especially in this one, there is no difference. To be truthful, there's no difference between 3 and 7, except for personal choice from the team. Think about this. There's a reason why Higgins is dropping. Okay? There's a reason why Higgins is dropping. How realistic is it if we trade the 4th pick? We don't have the 4th pick. We have the 1st pick. Are we trying to trade for the 4th pick? Depends on what Utah wants. And again, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like that kind of armchair GM. That's why I want to be wowed. That's why I want to go to this draft party. I don't want to figure it out now with you guys. Drive all the way to Long Island. I get stuck with Brian fishing in the morning for God knows how long, only to come to the draft and we figured it out already. No, that's boring. No. I want to be surprised. Do I think there's a trade coming? Yes. Do I really want to know right now? No. That ruins the purpose of going to the draft. Which one are we talking about? We talking about Schaefer? Why trade for him if he bolts first in 2 years? Who are we talking about? Higgins? Higgins will never bolt. No. Hey, first off, Higgins would sign Rick DiPietro's contract right now. Higgins would absolutely sign a 15-year deal. He would sign that 15-year deal right now. Break out Charles Wong's old checkbook. Give him a 15-year deal. Higgins signs it. Oh. Give me a little more. Give me a little more. See, this is the other thing here. I don't mind pulling a Charles Wong. If you're not signed by camp, you're just not playing. Yeah. Yeah. Let's play that route, man. I don't know. I may want a little bit more from Utah. I don't know. If he's drafted by another team and he bolts to us in 2 years, no, I think they kind of already know that, Jim. That's the point I'm trying to get here. And he would only need 1 year, by the way. He would only need 1 year. He's in college. He could play in the AHL tomorrow if he wanted to. And I think that's what's going to play out this week. But yeah, that's the reason. Well, let me rephrase that because I don't know. That may be the reason why his rankings are suddenly dropping, guys. Hello. And unfortunately, I have to agree with him. Look, even if the Team USA and Schaefer and whoever's there is in Bridgeport for at least 1 year of development, get their feet wet, okay? The season tickets would absolutely sell in Bridgeport, and to everyone's jargon, those fisherman jerseys would sell. They would sell. And when they finally get up with the parent club, you know they're going to be ready. Pandemonium. Bring them on. Hey, why not? Hey, in Bergenheim's defense, he was very good in the playoffs, just not for the Islanders. I'm trying not to compare that Nurse contract. I don't think Nurse should have gotten 9.25. I don't know if it's a full-on rebuild. I may disagree with that, only because, Schaefer does have that potential, but still, Dobson had what, 45 points? All you're asking Schaefer to do is rack up 45 points in 2 seasons, 3 at most. I wouldn't consider that to be a rebuild. And depending on who's around Schaefer, may not even be that long. Yeah, they all do. They all do. That's fine. Where did I have Higgins? I think I had Higgins at number 5. That's fine. And that's because other players did go up. But now, as we get closer to the draft, we start to see who may be taking what, in what, the rankings start to turn into mock drafts. You know what I mean? So, yeah, 3 through 7. Now it's just a personal preference. Those numbers separated by 4 points, they don't scare. They've never scared me. It's to each their own. Whoever they want to draft, but that's fine. And look, even if the Islanders had the 10th overall pick back, I would still think the Islanders would make a trade to go up and grab Higgins, probably for the same reasons. It's insane that some outlets have Higgins at 8. I can't see him over Martone or Frondell. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Best player available, I'd still go Frondell. Yeah, over Higgins. For right now. Yeah, that would still be me. I'm taking James Higgins for the other reasons. The Islanders need an identity. Higgins knows what it means to be an Islander. The Islanders can get their identity back with someone like James Higgins. And if James Higgins is drafted by the Islanders, he's going to show everyone else what it means to be an Islander, and they're all going to fall in line. I'm not saying Higgins is going to be a captain, but you guys understand where I'm going with it. Well, look, to your defense, Randy, Martone may be, for right now, he might be the number 1 prospect ready for the NHL. The soonest. Okay, maybe. Schaefer would be a debate, but for safety's sake, I just want Schaefer playing a healthy season next year in the O. I prefer college, but the O is fine. I just wanted to play a healthy season. But, Martone could be the most NHL ready. They already drafted. The Celtics already traded away Drew Holiday. I'm just, NBA draft, whatever. That's the latest. Frondell may, in fact, go to the Hawks. That's the nice little juicy rumor and whatnot. So, for those of you asking me for trade proposals, sorry, I don't do that. I don't like doing that. I don't want to do that. I want to feel excited when I actually sit there at UBS Arena with all of you. I'm hoping you're all going, and I want to see them make that move for Higgins. If we all get Schaefer, if we all get Higgins, That's how we're going to bring this Islander fan base together. Oh my God. Mathew Darsh, GM of the year. I don't care. Not just college players too, but you're going to get a few London Knights mixed in there as well. That's the hope. And what you're doing with Team USA in Bridgeport is that you're changing the culture. You're already changing the culture in Bridgeport because there's a lot of winning. Even from Oshawa. Lost his name. Been a long day. From London Knights too. You know, they've got all those players. They know how to win. Yeah, Isaiah George was one. Cal. Oh, this is embarrassing. Yeah, Nurmi. I don't want to see Nurmi play. I want to see Nurmi play one more season in London because London's not going to be as good. And I want to see Nurmi on purpose play some top 6 minutes. I want to see him in a top forward moment just to see him under pressure. Any status on D'Angelo? No. As of right now, we've only been told that restricted free agents are their primary goal. So, alrighty, boys and girls. This has been a lot of fun. What's going to happen at the draft? I don't know. I really don't know. I will be there at the draft. I'll be there all weekend, believe it or not. So, you know, give me your thoughts on the draft. Am I off? Does it sound good? We'll see what happens. I could be completely off, which is completely fine with me. But if they draft younger, if they draft a few more centers, if they can draft some really younger players, you know, that'll be the key. But I think for Islander fans, I think the Islanders are going to grab Hagens. I think they're going to grab Schaefer. And number 2, I think is also going to be critical for them as well. If they can pick up another right winger, beautiful. A right-handed defenseman, I'm all for it. Rounds 3 through 7, good luck. So, listen, folks, one more quick favor here. Please, 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 please follow us on Isles Talk, on X at Isles Talk, Facebook, and YouTube. Please hit that like and subscribe button. The numbers have been going up for all of us right now. It's been really good. Next week, I don't know if I'm going to do a show, but I'm going to have Shane Malloy back for one more time this year, and we'll go over the draft, the picks, and everything else, and we'll go from there. And we'll talk any free agency if we can. You know, other than that, enjoy the draft, everyone. Odds brush going overboard fishing Friday with you. No one will ever know. And having said that, boys and girls, have a great night. For some of you, I'll see you Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Let's go. Let's go, Islanders. Once again, let's go, Islanders.